Here's what most people do with Style Creator. They make one code, use it a few times, then move on. But here's what they're missing. Style Creator isn't just a tool for making styles, it's a tool for breaking Midjourney. Today, we're pushing this thing to its absolute limit. We're going to generate results that you cannot get with a normal prompt, no matter how detailed you make it. We're testing it across different scenarios, different compositions, different levels of complexity, and by the end, we're going to do something that most people don't even know is possible. And when you see the final result, you'll understand why I've been obsessed with this tool for the past week. Let's get into it! Okay, we're building our first style code from the ground up. We're starting with Style Creator, and here's the trick. We're keeping the prompt extremely simple, no flowery descriptions, no artistic adjectives, just pure structure. Why? Because we want the refinement process to do all the heavy lifting, not the prompt. Trust me on this one, I learned this the hard way. So I'm going with a single human figure standing inside a hollow enclosed space, walls surrounding the figure, no action, centered composition. That's it, no style, no vibe, just a person in a room. Now I'm setting this to portrait 3x4, raw mode, and draft quality, because we're going to generate a lot of images during refinement and we don't need to burn through GPU credits on every step. Hit submit and here we go! Okay, we've got our first grid, 24 images, widely different styles. This is where it gets interesting. I'm scanning for anything that feels luminous, surreal, painterly, kind of like oil-painted chaos mixed with deep glowing shadows. I'm selecting 7 images that push us in that direction. See the red check marks? Those are my picks. Everything else fades out. Hit Refine Style and we move to round 2. Round 2, another grid. But now look at the preview on the right. That's what our selections just created. It's already starting to feel more cohesive. I'm picking 7 more, refining again. Round 3, 5 images this time, we're narrowing it down. Round 4, 5 more, getting closer. And round 7. Perfect. Look at that result on the right. That's the vibe we were hunting for. Dark, luminous, surreal, almost like the figure is glowing from within a void. I'm hitting End Session in the top right and we're done. No going back now. Once you close this, your choices are locked in. Now, here's what's cool. If I go to my Create page, I can see every stage of this refinement process. 4 images from each round. And next to each row, the style reference code that stage generated. So we don't just have one code, we have 7 different levels of refinement, each with its own flavor. And now, we're going to take 3 of those codes from stages 1, 3 and 7 and test them across completely different scenarios to see how they hold up. Here we go! Alright, we've got our codes, now let's actually test them. I'm taking 3 codes from different stages of that refinement. Stage 1, Stage 3 and Stage 7. And I'm running them through the same prompt to see how they behave. First test. 2 human figures facing each other. Simple, no background, just 2 people, almost touching. Here's the baseline. No style code, just the raw prompt. You can see what Midjourney does on its own. Fine, but nothing special. Now I'm scrolling down to the images from stage 1 of our refinement. I click the style code on the right, and bam! It autofills into my prompt with the ~sref flag. Generate. Okay, check this out. The figures are way more abstract now, glowing, almost ethereal. The style code is doing its job, but it's still pretty rough. Stage 1 was early in the process, so this makes sense. Next up, Stage 3, same prompt. I'm scrolling to those images, clicking the code, and running it again. And now we're talking. The luminosity is kicking in. The figures have this painterly, almost oil-soaked texture now. We're getting closer to that surreal vibe we were hunting for. Now, final test. Stage 7, the fully refined code. Same prompt, let's see what this one does. There it is! Deep blues, glowing highlights, almost like the figures are made of light trapped in shadow. This is exactly what we built that code for. It's cohesive, it's striking, and it completely transforms the composition. By the way, all the prompts I'm using in this video, I'll drop them in the first comment so you can experiment with these exact codes yourself. So that's test 1. 2 figures, no background. But what happens when we throw these codes at more complex scenes? Let's find out. Alright, let's speed this up. I'm testing all 3 codes across 2 more prompts, back to back. First one, a child running through a field with a kite. Simple scene. Figure plus landscape. Here's the baseline with no style code. Clean, bright, totally standard Midjourney output. Green field, lone tree, kid with a kite. Nothing wrong with it, but nothing memorable either. Now with code. Stage 1. The colors shift warmer, more golden. The kid almost glows against the field. It's softer, dreamier, but still pretty grounded. Stage 3. Code. Now we're cooking. The field becomes painterly, almost like brush strokes. The sky gets this deep, saturated quality. It's still recognizable as a kite scene, but it feels like a memory, not a photograph. And finally, Stage 7. Deep blues creep into the sky. The tree silhouettes turn almost abstract, and the whole thing feels otherworldly. Like the kid is running through a surreal painting instead of a field. Okay, last test. Let's throw these codes at something way more complex. A group of people sitting around a long table, all focused on a small object in the center. Interesting, really interesting. With code from stage 1, the people look mostly normal, but the table? It's starting to shift. You can see hints of that glowing painterly texture trying to break through. Stage 3. The table gets more saturated, more textured. The people are still realistic, but the environment around them is transforming. And stage 7. See that table? It's full-on psychedelic now. Luminous, abstract, almost like it's made of liquid light. But the people? Still grounded, still human. So here's what we're learning. These style codes are smart. When you give Midjourney a complex scene with multiple people, it prioritizes keeping the figures recognizable and applies the stylistic heavy lifting to the environment, the background, the objects, the settings. That's actually a good thing. It means your code won't turn faces into abstract blobs, but they will transform the world around them. So that's stage 1 done. We built a style code from scratch, refined it through 7 stages, and tested it across 3 different types of scenes. And we learned that the refinement stage you choose, early, middle, or final, dramatically changes how the code behaves. But here's the thing, we only tested one style. What if we create completely different styles and see how they compare? Let's do that next! Alright, stage 2. We're creating 2 completely different style codes to see how they compare. First up, Gothic Storybook Charcoal Fairy Tale. I'm dropping in the prompt. A young girl walking through a narrow path between tall trees, carrying a lantern. Hit submit. First grid, I'm picking 8 images that lean dark, moody, sketchy. Think charcoal illustrations from old fairy tales. Refine. Round 2, 7 images, narrowing in on heavy shadows and fine line work. Round 3, 6 picks. The trees are getting more twisted, the lantern glow is becoming the focal point. Round 4, 6 more. The contrast is getting sharper, black and white is dominating now. Round 5, 6 selections, almost there. The girl is taking on this delicate storybook silhouette. Final round, 5 images. This is it. Pure charcoal fairy tale energy. Gothic, atmospheric, like something out of a Brothers Grimm illustration. Hit end session, head to the create page, and there it is. Our Gothic storybook style is locked in. One down, one to go. Now for the third style, whimsical storybook illustration. And actually, here's a little secret. I already created this one in my beginner's tutorial on Style Creator, so I'm just pulling that code. The prompt was a whimsical illustration of a fox reading a book under a tree. First grid, 11 picks, bright colors, playful compositions, soft edges. Round 2, 7 selections, the fox is getting more expressive, the scene more inviting. Round 3, 6 images, trees are getting golden, lightning is warm, and storybook perfect. Final round, 6 more picks. And done. Vibrant, charming, like something straight out of a children's book. Our whimsical storybook style is ready. Alright, we've got 3 completely different style codes now. The luminous, surreal, oil-painted vibe from round 1, the dark, gothic charcoal fairy tale, and this bright, whimsical storybook energy. Now let's test them head-to-head and see how they perform across 3 brand new prompts. This is where it gets really interesting. Time to put these 3 codes to the test. I've got 3 fantasy prompts: warrior versus dragon, huntress fleeing shadowy creatures, and the sorceress at a collapsing portal. Each one gets run 4 times, once clean, then once with each style code. Let's see how they hold up. First up, a lone warrior standing on a cliff edge, facing a massive dragon emerging from thick fog below. Running it clean first, no style code. Standard Midjourney output. Moody, atmospheric, but safe. Now I'm scrolling down to the images from our Gothic charcoal refinement, clicking the code, and it autofills into my prompt. Send it. The dragon becomes pure ink and shadow. The warrior's silhouette is razor sharp against the fog, almost like a woodcut illustration. Heavy contrast, intricate line work, this feels like it belongs in a medieval manuscript. Switching to the whimsical storybook code. And wow, totally different vibe. The dragon is still massive, but now it's painted in soft, warm tones. The fog has this golden glow, and the warrior looks like they stepped out of a children's adventure book. It's epic, but gentle. Last one, the luminous surreal code. Oh, this is wild! Deep purples and blues dominate, the dragon almost glows against the darkness, and the warrior is bathed in this ethereal light. It's less battle and more cosmic encounter, and it's stunning. Next prompt. A young huntress running through a dense forest while shadowy creatures move between the trees behind her. Clean version first, dark forest, mysterious figures, pretty standard. Now the Gothic code. I'm grabbing it from the refinement stage, clicking, adding it to the prompt. Perfect! The trees turn into these gnarled twisted forms. The huntress is rendered in fine charcoal detail, and those shadowy creatures? They're creepy, like something straight out of a dark fairy tale. The whole thing feels ominous. Whimsical storybook time! And now it's kind of adorable? The forest gets this warm golden light filtering through the trees. The shadowy creatures are still there, but they are more playful than menacing. It's like a bedtime story instead of a nightmare. Last code. Oh wow! The entire forest becomes this swirling abstract dreamscape. Blues and purples everywhere. The huntress is almost silhouetted against glowing mist. And those creatures? They are these luminous ghostly shapes. It's haunting in the best way. Final prompt. A sorceress reaching out toward a collapsing portal while figures are being pulled into it from the ground nearby. Clean version, dramatic, but you know the drill by now. Gothic code first. The portal becomes this intricate swirling void. Every detail is rendered in sharp black and white contrast. The sorceress and the figures look like they're being pulled into an illustration from an old grimoire. It's intense. Whimsical code? Let's see if we can make an apocalyptic portal cute. And kind of... Actually, the colors are warm, the sorceress looks like more heroic than desperate, and the portal has this almost inviting glow. It's like a storybook version of the end of the world. And now the Luminous surreal code. There it is! The portal explodes in blues, purples and glowing light. The sorceress is bathed in this otherworldly radiance, and the figures being pulled in, they're almost dissolving into the energy. It's chaotic, beautiful and completely surreal. So that's 3 completely different styles, tested across 3 different scenarios, and they all work, just in totally different ways. But here's the question. What happens when we stop using them separately and start combining them? Let's find out! Alright, final stage. We've got 3 widely different codes. We've tested them separately, now it's time to see what happens when we combine them. Same prompt for all of these. An ancient forest clearing where a mystical nymph rises from a shallow pool. Water dripping from her skin as glowing fireflies gather around her. Let's start simple. First, the clean version. No style codes, just raw Midjourney. The results are fine. Atmospheric forest, glowing fireflies, nymph rising from the water. It's pretty. But there's no personality here. It's exactly what you'd expect. Competent, safe, forgettable. Time to add some chaos. I'm grabbing the psychedelic code, clicking it, and it autofills into my prompt. Then I'm scrolling down to the Gothic refinement images, clicking that code, and adding it right after. 2 codes, 1 prompt, run it! Oh wow! Look at the first one. The nymph skin is glowing neon green, almost bioluminescent. Her hair flows like liquid, and the entire forest behind her is writhing, swirling, psychedelic textures in deep purples, magentas and blues. There's a mushroom in the corner, the fireflies look like they're alive with energy. And this one? Blood dripping from a mouse, pale blue skin, glowing fireflies, yellow butterflies. It's dark, gothic horror meets bioluminescent rave. Let's call this one Neon Gothic Dreamscape. Next combo, psychedelic code again. Then I'm pulling in the whimsical fox code. Running it. Okay, this is completely different. First image, the nymph is silhouetted in the center, but the forest is exploding with color. Pinks, oranges, blues, purples, yellows, like an impressionist painting on fire. The fireflies are golden, the flowers in the foreground are warm and inviting. It's real but gentle. And this one? Heavy oil paint texture. Every brush stroke is visible. Her hair is fairy orange, her body is blue and purple, and the background radiates like a sunset. It's like Van Gogh painted a fairy tale. This one? Luminous Storybook Impressionism. Alright, let's try Gothic plus Whimsical. No psychedelic this time. Clicking the Gothic code, then the Fox code, running it. This is adorable actually. The first image, the nymph is drawn in this exaggerated big-eyed cartoon style, purple-blue skin, thick outlines, almost like a Tim Burton character. The trees are Gothic and ornate, rendered in heavy blue and purple line work. Pink butterflies, glowing fireflies, it's dark but cute. This image, a pixie nymph with wings, sitting by the pool with cartoon fireflies buzzing around her. A pink flower in the foreground, the trees are painted in deep blues, purples and pinks. It's whimsical, vintage, like an old children's book illustrated with a psychedelic dark palette. We'll call this Whimsical Gothic Cartoon. And now the big one. All three codes, Gothic, psychedelic and whimsical, together. I'm adding the Gothic code first, then psychedelic, then the Fox code. 3 style references in one prompt. Let's see what Midjourney does with this. Oh my god! A fairy-like nymph with wings and blue skin sitting in the pool holding a spear. The trees are rendered in thick Gothic line work, deep blues and purples with pink highlights. Candles float on the water. It's Gothic structure, psychedelic color, whimsical character design all fused together. Second one, pure oil paint chaos. The nymph is tiny in the center, but the forest is a symphony of brush strokes. Oranges, pinks, purples, blues, all swirling with visible texture. Gothic outlines meet impressionist color. It's like Grimm's fairy tales painted by Monet on acid. Third image. The nymph stands in flowing robes, hands raised with water dripping down, yellow-blue gown, pink and yellow light radiating behind her, orange butterflies, glowing candles. The style is painterly and expressive, soft but vivid, dreamlike but grounded. And the fourth? The nymph is levitating above the water, arms outstretched, dressed in purple and blue, trees painted in purples and pinks, soft white pink glow behind her, fireflies hovering. It's polished, ethereal, like a high fantasy oil painting brought to life. This is Luminous Gothic Dreamscape Fantasy, or maybe just pure magic. That's what happens when you combine 3 completely different styles into one. You don't get chaos, you get synthesis, Gothic structure, psychedelic energy, whimsical charm, all working together to create something that wouldn't exist otherwise. And that's the power of Style Creator. And there it is! 3 style codes, 3 completely different aesthetics, and when we brought them all together, absolute magic! This is what makes Style Creator such a game changer. It's not just about creating styles, it's about layering them, experimenting with them, and discovering combinations that Midjourney would never generate on its own. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one of these combos, plug in your prompt and see what you get. Then come back and tell me in the comments what happened. I want to hear about the wildest result you created. And listen, if this blew your mind, we're just scratching the surface. There are so many more tools, techniques and experiments coming on this channel. So smash that like button, drop a comment with your results and hit subscribe because we're going deep with Midjourney. See you in the next one! Now go create something incredible!